Thank you, Mr. Chairman. My good friend, Mr. Deja. Of course, let me recognize the presence of Dr. Roosevelt Skerrit, our Prime Minister, who has been with us in Morne Prosper very often, I must say. So I want to welcome him here tonight. I think we should give him a big welcome again. Of course, the head table, we have the chairman who we just spoke about, very, very enthusiastic young man, loaded actually, and of course the CTO in my ministry, Mr. Kendall Johnson. But in large numbers as well here tonight is my cabinet colleagues. And we have the Honorable Raven Blackmore, who was a former Minister of Public Works. So we must give him a big hand as well too. Honorable Joseph Isaac, my good friend, he was here with us on Saturday as well too. Let's give him a big hand. And the minister before me in the Public Works, Honorable Miriam Blanchard, is right here with us tonight. And of course, our one and only Minister of Tourism, Honorable Robbie Tong. Right. And of course, to you, the villagers who are here in large numbers, I must say, those of us inside, there's still a few chairs here and there are lots of people outside still, but feel free to come in. They have a little red label on some of the chairs. That'll really be comforting as well too. Okay. But ladies and gentlemen, and members of the media, I must say it's a pleasure to be here tonight again. A great, great pleasure. And I've always said to you, whenever I say something, I mean it. And I don't talk just for talking's sake. I'm not a man who's going to say we will promise that and we don't do it. So I'm here tonight to really discuss with you, and I brought the entire team with us, our Prime Minister. And when we visited here on Saturday gone, we drove through the village, and we know it's been tight for you. And I must say, I must commend the people of Morne Prosper for one serious reason. And the reason is for your commitment and your endurance in terms of, we know the road is bad. I'm not speaking about the village road yet at all, but we know we're doing a major project down there. And I must admit, the road is terrible. But it's not because we want to have the road so. We must cut that cliff, because if we don't cut that cliff, we will not have any road in Morne Prosper. So we must understand that. So I want to congratulate you and ask you to be patient still and understand the development work that's taking place there. And I know it's a bit rugged, I know it's a little rough and whatnot, but we must cut that cliff. It's the first time in its history when we got Morne Prosper in terms of, when I say we, I'm not talking about the government. When we as a people inherited Morne Prosper, we had this little narrow road. But then Maria taught us a serious lesson, and we know many moons ago we had the major accident that took place. Just before that, we lost a number of folks here. I was very instrumental in that one as well too, so I know it very well. But this is a treacherous road. When we got into power, well, when I say we, the Labour Party especially, when I became the Pal Rep, the first thing I did was to fix the first half of the road. It's a little painful to see it's deteriorating right now, but it's deteriorating for a good reason, but I will fix it. It's deteriorating because we have these heavy trucks hauling all that tarriage down for us in cutting up that cliff, because we must have a road for you all. When we came up here on, and we'll talk about the cost of that road. When we came up here on Sunday, and I've been working for a little while now, the village road is getting real bad. And it's a tired old road. It cannot go any further, to be honest with you. That's never been given any serious attention. And I am going to, our government, we're going to give it some serious attention right now, and tonight we will sign a contract. So this is the main reason why we're here tonight, but I thought it's also very important just to talk to you a little bit about the various projects in the Roseau Valley. We started the Roseau Valley and we'll do some of the national projects, and I'll be very brief with you and I'll be moving online. The first one we have here is the road rehabilitation, and you are going through a lot of pressure as well too. In the Coptol area, that's another major road going on there, a major one. We all know what the folks in Coptol have been suffering, and we have Mr. Colbert here and a few other folks from Coptol. They have been suffering down there too, and you have been suffering because you have to traverse, you have to drive to that road to get to the capital city. So what this is the first phase, which is going to cost us $3.001 million. And we're looking at rigid pavements, the sidewalks, and a draining system, because every time it rains down there, Morne Prosper and the surrounding areas, they drain into Coptol, and that area needs to be properly drained. So we're working on that one, costing $3.001 million. It started in July, and hopefully we want to see some of the rigid pavement taking place shortly, because I mean it's a little hard for us. That wall we're putting down by the corner down there, it's a big wall. We had to do it because the road is really eroding there, and I think we're going to have a super highway. So when you combine Coptol, the first phase of the Morne Prosper road, which will rehabilitate, and also to the cliffway stabilizing down there, coupled with the Morne Prosper road, I think we're going to have a good road here. Morne Prosper is a cul-de-sac. What I mean by that is a blind village. Not in terms of your eyesight I'm talking about. I'm talking about when you drive to Morne Prosper, that's the only place you have to drive back out of it. But I want to say something to you. If you all keep us, or if you keep me here long enough, we will continue. I'm not saying we're going to do it now, because we have to look at the priority first. But there's a nice back road over a bridge heading to Wharton Haven. In the future, that's something we could consider. But I'm not pledging this project tonight. I'm just telling you some of the vision looking at Morne Prosper moving forward. We're going to the Morne Prosper road rehabilitation, and this one going to involve a number of shelves. You might say to yourself that we are shelving there, we're taking a long time. It's a lot of material, and we are very grateful that we have a dump site right in Coptal where we are dumping the tarish, and of course we're using it in a smart way there. We're reclaiming and refilling an old landslide that occurred some, I would say about 40, 45 years ago. I remember that landslide behind Mr. Martin Allen House where it blocked the Roseau Valley. That is where we are rehabilitating in terms of doing some land reclamation there. At the same time, a closer spot for dumping of the tarish, which will help us quite a bit. And of course, those of you who have your little farm roads, now is the time to get tarish from down there. Let us use some of that for our little farm roads to help us. We are doing some of these farm roads. We'll talk about them, but I mean, now is the time to take advantage of it. You don't get these opportunities very often, but let's use it wisely, okay? The Wharton Haven Bridge abutment. Wharton Haven, little problem area. A lot of problems in terms of railways. And I must commend the people of Wharton Haven for really diligently understanding what's happening. After Maria, the bridge got impacted. That's a little bridge from Wharton Haven to Trafalgar, and it got washed away. It's a primitive old bridge. Built long ago, that used to be the bridge that used to take folks up to Twabito. Daniel Green owned some land up there, and of course, our government, what we did, we continued the road into Trafalgar, so we had a nice little bypass from Wharton Haven to Trafalgar. It got impacted during Hurricane Maria, and of course, we are building it back, and we are building back at a cost of $3.4 million. In the next couple of weeks, that road should be open, and listen to the millions I'm talking about. This is not a joke at all. It doesn't come from trees. We have to generate that money. So this project should be on stream very soon in terms of the completion. I visited there last Friday, as well as the Prime Minister and myself went there on Saturday evening to have a look at it. And you can see a different gradient there in terms of a slope, and really get onto a nice road there to take us from Wharton Haven to Trafalgar. As soon as we are done with that road, what we're going to do is we're going to close down the end from Savannah down there to Wharton Haven and really start a major rehabilitation project of this road, which is an old, tired road that's suffering and has been, under pressure. Now, this is just a few projects in the Roseau Valley amounting to quite a bit of money. Out of that, Morne Prosper has three of them. We also have the other one in that part of the Roseau Valley, which is the Cochrane Road Rehabilitation Project. And this one is a huge project. Again, an old estate road. But sometimes you may ask the question, why is government spending so much money on small villages? This government here is a government of the poor people. We represent those people who cannot really look up and help themselves. So when you hear talk about the government spending too much time on, I'd like to use the word poor, let's say the marginalized, people the less fortunate ones. This government led by Dr. Roosevelt Skerritt, we cater a lot for the marginalized people and people who need help. And you can say what you want, we will continue to do it. We're not going to worry about the days of saying, well, why worry about these people? No, you are important to us. You have been people that have been laid down from the old plantations, the old estates. We have moved, new people have come in, and we have a bit of buoyancy there. But we'll make sure we take those roads to you. Wharton Haven being an old estate road, Morne Prosper long ago used to be estates as well too, and our people have settled there. In spite of that, we're going to fix these old estate roads and turn them into highways, and this is what we're going to be doing tonight when we sign some of our contracts. Cochrane is going to cost us $11.1 million. And this one is being done by Jack Garagan. It's a very, very old estate road. It's costing us a little bit of money because we have to do a lot of the cutting and the shelving as well to on a new road surface. And of course, that's going to cost. It's a very important road as well, from the point of view that the failures we have in the in the Antrim area here, which is posing a challenge from us, that makes Warner, Mr. Blackmore is right there, Warner, and even Cochrane, very important villages in terms of bypassing, in terms of the sort of geology that's taking place here in terms of the land movement. And this thing is going on in excess of the early 1900s when Mr. Lennox Onichich, our historian, explained to us some folks had died there. From the the British government they were sent here to do some work there. It is still continuing. So when you listen to the criticism, and I listened to some of it on Sunday, and I was appalled at it, and I need to share it with you. When people speak, and they speak in terms of the government is not doing something about Antrim. Antrim has been going on since before we were born. And if we listen to the history, we'll understand what's happening. But we're not sitting by. We'll continue to do things in terms of trying to fix Antrim. But Antrim is not an easy fix. Antrim is a piece of land slipping on itself. So you can do what you want there. The land is slipping and the road is slipping with the land. So in terms of geotech studies and whatnot, and what we're trying to do, there's a fault line. And a fault line means that there's a crack. That's what a fault means. And that piece of land there's a crack there, and it is slipping away into the ravine. So this is a problem there. It's not easy, but we'll bring in the necessary geotech specialists to help us with that. And this is exactly what's going on. So when you listen to people on the radio stations talking nonsense, you have to make sure you're educated to know what's happening. And we are government of the truth. We don't play games with politics, or we don't play games with the people's lives, okay? Right. Now, you would have known that you've seen a lot of dredging taking place in Dominica. A lot of dredging. Some of you, most of you, I think a lot of you are younger than I am, but it's the first time in my whole life I've ever seen that level of dredging taking place. It is costing us a lot of money, a lot of money. It is costing us in excess of 100 and, listen to that carefully, you know, it's costing us quite a bit of money. And we're looking at the dredging of the Picard, the Dubla, the Collyho, Coolibistry, Salisbury, Checkall, Roseau to the market, to Silver Lake, Fontbower, Melvinhall, Belfast, and Bagatelle, Four Seja Rivers, Point Michel, Fokole, Gutter Village, Bledim, Fontbower, Mitcham, Granby, and even recently, what happened to us in the north, we had to relocate some of our machinery there, and we went on to do Point Wrong. You saw the floodings in Dominica. A lot of you probably wouldn't have thought that Dominica could flood, but yes, we can flood, and we saw it in Portsmouth. That's why we had to remobilize and send some of the troops in terms of the infrastructure company. That's helping us here, the Dominica Strong Company. And we're looking now at the Point Wrong River, the Picard Bridge, and I'm sure you know that the Point Wrong Bridge, which is a temporary bridge, got washed away. And all we're trying to do is build new bridges. Our Chinese friends were there trying to build a permanent bridge. The river was very strong. It came and it washed some of what they're using to pile the abutments there, in terms of the steel rods. And then what we are doing now, we have built a new bridge fast, open sometime next week, and we have another little bypass, and the Chinese will continue their work there. We're also doing the Picard River, is now being dredged. We're looking at the North River, that's the North River, a little one down into the Portsmouth area, now being dredged as well too. The Tartan River started and will continue, and of course we're going to look at the 1 mile area. Those of you who know the 1 mile area, that's an area that will require some serious, some serious study in terms of hydrology, because Portsmouth has a town below sea level, and we have to be careful how we dredge that river heading into Portsmouth and how we're going to drain in the proximity of the Indian River and the other rivers in the Lago area. So ladies and gentlemen, this is quite a bit going on in that area, and then it's costing us a total of $131 million. Now this is not a joke. This is not a joke. And we thought it was very important to invest that money in that, in the amount of dredging taking place. Because if we didn't do it, you'll have your major cities like Portsmouth, your major city like Roseau, and all your little villages would be under pressure, and it'll be more than $131 million. So we are investing now for the future, and we'll continue. Okay? You would have noticed as well too that we have a number of different Bailey bridges that we are replacing in Dominica, and we are developing. And of course we had to come in with the Bailey bridges. And as I speak, as government, we ordered a number of Bailey bridges to have on standby, because in terms of climate change, and of course our Prime Minister and his articulation as building Dominica as the first climate resilient country, we must take into consideration what we need to do in the event of these unforeseen weather events. So what we have done, we have ordered a number of Bailey bridges, and we have them on standby. As a matter of fact, the Bailey Bridge for Overbridge, those of us who farm Overbridge, your Bailey Bridge had to be used somewhere else, because we couldn't have major highways and major streets in the country without a Bailey Bridge. So what I've done, we were just about to put your Bailey Bridge up there, but we had to use it, as well as another one in the Prime Minister's area. We had to use it. And in using it, you are without the Bailey Bridge. But I want to tell you something, that you will get the Bailey Bridge. You can just order the whole set of them, and we will be putting a Bailey Bridge for farmers in the Overbridge area. I apologize for talking so fast, but I want to get to the real thing, but I still want to share some things with you, so just bear with me for a little while. Now, in the area, we were able to use a total of $1.3 million for some of these new projects that came on for after. In terms of the Morbe Bridges, that's a UK funded. Morbe Bridges at a cost of 1.3, and we're looking at Bailey Bridges for 4 Bower, Castle Comfort, River Estate, Kinfield, Taberry, Laplane. I'm sure you saw the Laplane river there, the river in Laplane really washing away again. We'll build a proper bridge there just now for sure. Geneva, Forsasia, Dodan, White River, Wharton Waven we spoke about, Granby next to the primary school, Buitika, Batali, Point Rong Bridges. All these bridges are being placed in Dominica at a cost of $11.8 million. We have the repair, construction of permanent bridge structures. You would have seen the York Valley Bridge, which was able to stand Hurricane Maria. And this is a bridge built by our Chinese friends. And this one really and truly stood the test of Hurricane Maria. So it proves that the Chinese built a very, very resilient bridge for us. And what we'll do from there, we'll look at the road from the Layu Bridge to the York Valley Bridge, and of course Mr. Blackmore is here through the Layu Valley, where Dominica Strong, the same infrastructure company, is doing quite a bit of dredging inside of us and cleaning up that area as well too. So we'll be moving in that as well too. Of course, Platt's consulting firm has done some designs for us, and we'll be moving in that. The Pishley River, we were able to do some work there, and the bypass, which cost us another $257.4 thousand. The Lubia Bridge next to Spider, we were able to do at $123. Melvin Hall, we had to do some works there, 490, blending 285. Ansdime, of course, 506. Now, those of you who have your calculator adding up there, you realize you're getting into the millions, but I beg that I must continue talking about the millions. The Catholic Church in Soufriere, we spent 209. That bridge was washed away. Those of you who have been to the Catholic Church there in the past, you realize that. And more importantly, your major road, your major bridge in the capital city, Isilu Black Bridge, which is costing us $6.4 million to really put in that abutment on the north side of Dominica. And sometime in December, that bridge will be open for us to have traffic flowing through this capital city again. A city I consider as my New York City, and you all know that for sure. Okay. We have the new bridge, the new link bridge, Bath Estate and Emsall communities, which is going to go out very soon. We have the costings for that. That's in the region of $11+ million. We all know that Emsall suffered a major loss of their bridge, and they almost locked in through the back there, this little road, which we have rehabilitated. But we're going to move this bridge very, very soon. The Mango Hole Crossing in Marigot at 820.3. We're going to move that as well to $820,000. Then we have the other one at the Layu Bridge at Hillsborough. Proposal is out for that, and you know the Layu Bridge is a pretty old bridge, but you know the abutment on the east side of it, the east and the south end of it is damaged, and we're going to move it that very soon in terms of doing some piling there, and some geotech studies are being done right now as to how deep we go with that. Of course, you know it's a sandbed there, and we have to work with that. We have the new walls on the Roseau River from the West Bridge to the Isilu Back Bridge, costing us $3.7 million. And of course, just now, in terms of your Roseau, the Roseau Enhancement Project, which is what we are articulating on, is building a brand new Roseau city and really going up with it and going across with it. And we want to tackle the walls first. And we just got back some estimates today, which I'm able to share today, but we into a number of millions of dollars again to build all these walls, protecting the capital city, such that we can go in there and fix up the, give Roseau a lovely dress in terms of the riverside. Very, this is a city with a river flowing through it. You don't get many cities with rivers flowing through it. And it's a clean river that bleeds from the Roseau Valley into Roseau. So it's a lovely city with a river, and we want to develop the river walls, fix up the sideways, bury all our conduits, all our cable lines, everything underground to create Roseau as the first climate resilient city as articulated by our Prime Minister and all the speeches he has given so far. Those of you who take your children to the college up at Stock Farm, you'll see a $3.1 million project they completed. Of course, we have two little areas where we have some little blebbing of the asphalt because of water, but that'll be fixed shortly, where we can have our lovely highway heading to the Stock Farm area. In that area as well, too, we're also looking at the multi-purpose sporting complex. That's something we want to look at for our people in Roseau and the environs. That will move very soon as well too. There are designs for that and a costing for that, so we'll move it out as well too, just as things continue to unfold. We have a certain amount of roads we have rehabilitated. Those of you who have seen the Charles Avenue, that's down by the 8 bag down there, by the old Vanos house, by the old banana building down there, that lovely road heading to the hospital, rehabilitated with all the nice little sidewalks and whatnot. This cost us $3.4 million. They have the Pembroke Street in Portsmouth, $1.1 million. And of course, those of you who pass through the Botanical Gardens, and I must commend some of our construction fellows here who have helped us in that way, hailing from Wharton Waven, some from Morne Prosper, a few from Loda, some from Massac, Roseau, who came in there and provided us labor free labor. These guys came in there, we were able to purchase concrete, and in a matter of a short space of time, we were able to build a new road through the gardens, a new road. And I must say, this road has helped us a lot. This road is very important. Now, my dear people, the plan for the gardens is not to just have this lovely road going through it. We want to develop the gardens into a nice urban park. We can go there, put our nice large towels there, and we can relax and watch the lovely trees and study and relax. But what we want to do now, this little bypass heading down in the old works of the gardens is terrible. It's terrible, we know that. And we're about to do something with it as well too, so we can allow it to flow lovely in a nice way. But we have the estimates for the bypass of the gardens, where we're going to bypass all the traffic that normally flows through the gardens, through the back there and head out, so we can head out there so we can have a gardens that is free, where you can walk through it and you can really enjoy yourself. Because I have been through some of the gardens, in botanical gardens in the Windward Islands and in the Caribbean, and I must say Dominica has quite a large acreage of gardens that we have to use properly. So we're working on that. So let's bear with us for a little bit. We'll continue to work with that, but just to commend the folks who helped us a lot during the period when we were building this road free of charge. They never charged us. And these guys are the same guys who are benefiting from some of the projects today in terms of the various areas, because we thought as a government we had to really lend our hands to them because they were very helpful in the gardens project. So let's give them a big hand because that's a big project. Of course, little ones like Ravin Lachelle at Morne, Louise, Savagnac with Savan Pie, we did that. The first phase of the Emsall Road, we did some work on the Emsall Road, costing $759,000. Champagne Road, another $340,000. And of course, we did some work on the Minister of Tourism is right here. We did some work on the Dame Eugenia Boulevard, which cost us about another 400 and something. The Regate, you all probably don't even know aware of that. Regate going up to Higher Kingshill there was a major failure there, costing some money as well there. Of course, we did some resurfacing, and most of you who drive through the city and through the High Street area and through the Thomas Bath Road, you will notice that we're starting to asphalt some of these roads. And we have done the Sultan to Pokase. Those of you who have been to the airport to collect your loved ones just before the 40th anniversary, we celebrated there. Those of you who drove on that road, you notice a highway from Sultan to Pokase costing $5.7 million. We did the High Street, really trying to spruce up Roseau, and we did a section of Stieber Street, and of course some of the Eolibla highway that damaged post-Hurricane Maria. We did some of these works as well too. I really don't want to hold you down too much on this project, so I'm going to try to move on much faster, and to say to you that you'll notice also a huge project in the Egliston-Girardel area. That one is costing us $6.06 million. Of course, the Salisbury Road, which we had another $546,000, and of course Grandford $250,000. Now, the road at Castle Comfort, Girardel, the road is very bad too, I must admit, very bad. But what we have done there, we have a number of edge failures. Now, the country you have inherited, and the country we are fortunate to live in, Dominica, is a very, very beautiful country. But it's a very, very difficult country when it rains. Because I mean, as much as we enjoy the fresh breeze up here, we're living in peace here. Some of us will make 100 and 150 up here because it's clean water, fresh breeze. But to get up here is expensive. And just like Morne Prosper and Loda and Castle Comfort and Egliston and all these places here, we live on mountains. Because this beautiful gem we have here is a mountainous country. That's why I will die here. I love it, but it's costly to develop it. Okay, let me see. Okay, I think my ladies and gentlemen, okay, we plan to do a number of streets in Roseau. And of course, coupled with the Roseau Enhancement Project, which is another major project that will cost us quite a few $1 million. And I'm talking about a little bit. The estimates for that is going to be millions. But we are going to do it because we have said that we have all the designs for this Roseau developing Roseau into a modern city. We have all the designs for it, and we're going to be doing it. As I mentioned, we'll start with the walls first, move on to the streets, burying all the cables on the underlines and things, doing a little bit of what they call horizontal, going up a bit with some of the buildings, and really turning that city into a modern city. That is coming as well too. When you want to look at exiting Roseau, you look at the Winston Lane and up by the stadium, going across there. We want to get you out of town. So when we start that work, that work that we can get out of town properly. Of course, we have the problems still with the cruise ships, but of course you would have heard our Prime Minister speak in terms of building 2 new ports for Dominica. Once we have completed that, plus the international airport, I think the sky is the limit for us. The sky is going to be the limit. So ladies and gentlemen, there's a lot more I can say here tonight, I must admit. There's a lot I can say here tonight, but I thought in the interest of time and getting down to the real business of tonight's work is what we're going to come to just now. But just in closing, I want to mention that you would have noticed just after Hurricane Maria, the place was dark. This place was dark. So we went on a serious program, and we were able to put in 53 streetlights at Taro, 110 from Picard to Tibet, 114 from Tibet to Bioche, 14 on the Goodwill Road, you'll see them all the time. We have 3 on the Goodwill Link Road, 10 on the Bayfront, 26 at Mont Daniel Kinfield, and 10 on the Nicholas Liverpool Highway, a total of 340 to date. And I must say to you that right here in Morne Prosper, you're not only going to get the drains, which will be signed into the annual rigid pavement, but we want to turn Morne Prosper into a modern city, and we're going to give you street lights as well. Now, my dear people, when I speak, I don't play games. I'm a serious man. I'm a serious man. I mean how it is. I'm very serious. When I say something, I mean it. But what I want to say to you tonight, this is not a political meeting at all. It's a meeting to talk with the people. But I want you to make sure you differentiate between who is real and who is not real. And this government, I understand the politics of before, but we have to look at the politics of now and moving forward. Do not gamble with your future. That's right. Don't gamble with your future. That's right. The Prime Minister was here on Saturday with me, bubbling through the village. Some people ask us, where's the security? I say, no, we don't need security in Morne Prosper. We don't need that here. We bubbled through the village, we met people. We weren't asking people to vote for us. But we want to, at the end of the day, we want you to compare what you have and listen to those pie in the sky type projects. Fellas come in and, can I buy you a drink at functions and come and mop your drinks that we have been putting there for you. And I want you to understand who are the serious folks. So ladies and gentlemen, with these few words, I thank you very much for listening to me. And let's move on to this program for tonight. Thank you.